Ladies and gentlemen, welcome! Today is August 27th, 2014, and this is the KNKL SHOW, episode 194, where we learn to be better artists. I'm your host, Keenan Lafferty, and today we are going to be learning how to paint atmosphere, paint your backgrounds, using a technique that I like to call atmospheric distortion. Just using atmosphere. We're going to get into that. Anyway, but before we jump into the actual tutorial, we have to take a stroll down the lovely lane because you guys have been being awesome and submitting your beautiful artwork as usual to the Facebook page. For those of you who have not joined us yet, please consider typing in that URL at the bottom left or just click the link in the description below and join us and submit your art. I like to look at these on a nice weekend day, just kind of chilling with my toast and hot coffee, right? Or hot chocolate. I don't drink coffee. But yeah, I like to look at all these pictures, and it always warms my heart. Warms my heart, especially sexy ladies. Very good. I can see her picking up on the female anatomy lessons. All right. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. With our good old friend, Blank Canvas. Hello, Blank Canvas. What are we going to be doing today? We're going to be painting a beautiful scene. And I'm going to be showing you a couple tricks that you can do to create backgrounds using atmosphere. So we're going to paint a nice hillside. We're going to be painting the scene that I was talking about a couple weeks ago with our last Thoughtful Thursday, right? With our guy who created the beautiful meadow, and he planted the tree, and now he is relaxing. He is relaxing in his homegrown meadow. But then we're going to paint some other things in the background, okay? And I'm going to show you how you, too, can create backgrounds with ease and have fun doing so. But first, let's just focus on the foreground. Let's focus on the detail, right? Because this is what you're going to do first. You're going to paint stuff like this. In fact, let's give him a nice little area right there so he can sit down. Let's have our guy kind of relaxing here. He's going to be a small guy. Should make it bigger. Let's make it bigger. Oh, yeah, I actually like that. Great composition. Great composition. Just with the tree like that. And the guy like that. Perfect. And I don't know exactly how much detail I'm going to be able to go into with this, but I'm going to do my best. So, anyway, let's go ahead and just draw our guy reading his book. This guy is reading a book on purchasing property, right? Because this guy is me. And I want to have my own place. After living in this beautiful apartment, it's like I love it, but I hate it at the same time. I'm ready to have my own house. I'm ready to have my own studio house. So this guy is sitting down, reading a book on how to buy a house. Because it is an actual crazy process from what I've been reading in this book right here. Crazy book, but it is really cool. Very helpful. If you're looking into buying a home, I suggest you buy the book called Buying a Home. And then you will learn how to do so. So anyway, okay, so let's focus on the task at hand. So let's get those details in, those important details. Okay, I like to do my hair. I like to have one little piece that comes down in the middle of my forehead like an anime character. All right, I always do that. Let's go ahead and bring that over there. Not too worried about detail. We're just kind of laying it in, okay? Because we're not drawing people today. We're drawing backgrounds, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But for right now, I'm just distracting you, so that way I can casually paint this guy, and you won't question. You won't question what I'm doing. Okay, so let's draw in the hand. There we go. And let's draw him with my shirt. Sure, why not? Okay, wow, he's really comfy. This guy looks really comfy. Okay, let's give him his shoes. It's good. Oh man, this is wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so I'm gonna call that good. Let's put a little bit of detail into our tree. And let's figure out our light source. Let's have the light source coming from this way, right? Because you got to have reading light. Reading light is going to be coming from that way. So our shadows are going to be cast in this fashion. We're actually going to have to move our guy back a little bit because he needs to be leaning on the tree, not just floating in the air like he is right now. Let's give him a little shadow on the tree there. Cool. Let's get some grass there. I like it. All right, now let's draw our tree. And let's make sure it's going to be happy. This tree is going to be so happy. All right, so yeah, let's just draw in some simple little designs here for like the roots and the bark. Nothing too crazy. I was actually thinking about doing this in a time-lapse form, but I figured, hey, I'll just have you guys watch me put together a scene. Why not? Even if we run a little bit longer today. We started at 45, quarter till, so we'll see how long we go. If we go kind of long today, whatever. I don't really care. I don't really care. Because you guys seem to like the longer shows anyway. So if you wanted to watch me put together an entire scene, then today's the day. Today is the day. I mean, it's not going to be like an amazing scene, but it'll get the point across. Okay? Okay, I put way too much detail into that shoe. Actually, it's a boot. It's a boot. All right. So we've got that. It's looking good. Let's get our tree in here. I am not the best at drawing trees. But, like many other things in my life, when I don't know how to do it, just wing it. I just wing it. Just act like you know what you're doing. And then you'll kind of fall into the cadence of what you should be doing. All right, so let's go ahead and add a little bit more foliage, if you will. Some foliage in this tree. All right, this is looking good. I like this. Okay, so we've got Mr. Tree here, and he needs to be happy, so let's just give him like a design in his bark that makes him look happy. There you go. Couple knots right next to each other. And then happy face. Actually, that looks a little creepy, but whatever. We'll roll with it. Rolling with it. Okay. So you've got your main foreground scene here, okay? Now we're going to drop in some color. We're going to drop in the beautiful color. And now I'm going to show you the brilliance of using atmosphere to create a background. After this. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to color our lines a little bit darker. Now that we have lines that we are sufficiently happy with, let's go ahead and just fill those. Darken them down. And let's put in some color. Put in some color. So let's start with a dark, sort of dark green for the grass. Because for those of you who watch the show, you know that I like to paint dark colors first, and then I like to add the light on top of it. Which might not be the best in this situation since it's mostly light, but whatever. I just think it's more fun. It's way more fun to paint the light as opposed to just painting the darkness. All right. And let's go ahead and figure out what we want our sky to be, okay? Now, this is one of the first important things that you want to do. Whatever color you choose the sky to be is going to be very imperative to your atmosphere. So for this, I'm just going to choose a light blue, okay? Light blue, nothing crazy. Make it a little bit brighter than that. Yeah, like that. That's going to be our sky color, okay? Now let's go ahead and paint in our light on our grass. We're going to hue shift, and the light of the grass is going to be mostly like this, okay? So we're going to have our grass look like that. See how much more fun that is to paint the light as opposed to paint the darkness? Join the light side. I like to do it that way. All right, a little bit of saturation in our transitions. Very good. And let's go ahead and like desaturate and push it to blue for our shadows. Getting a little bit of that ambient occlusion in there. For those of you who don't know what that is, go check out the tutorial on ambient occlusion. All right, so now you have something like that. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right, let's get some color on the tree there. Again, painting darkness first. Darkness first. That's too dark. Darkness first. Perfect. That's good. Let's get those branches in there. I like it. All right, let's hit it with some light. Hit it with some light. We're going to have something kind of like that. Let's have it go brighter and desaturate it a little bit more so it's more like that. Yes! A little bit of that reflected light in there. Very good. And let's do our leaves. Leaves. Leaves are really cool on trees. I personally like to go to the park a lot, and oftentimes I'll just look up at the trees, and the way that the light kind of just passes through all of the leaves and like creates that subsurface scattering effect. Whenever I see a good example of that, I'll always take a picture with my phone so I can just hang on to it for later. Good reference. But trees are actually really hard to do without a reference. But I'm going to do my best. Basically, more often than not, I notice that towards the edges and like down here, you'll get sort of like this interesting gradient. Like if you were to simplify it, you're going to have like this gradient that kind of goes towards the top of the tree. And then it sort of gets dark or like more dense towards the middle. So you get stuff going on like this. Again, keeping in mind your light coming from the top right there. Make sure you get your shadows. Shadows like that. Create some interesting shapes. All right, sometimes what I like to do is I'll kind of piece back in little leaves like this on top of the shadows there. And then I'll go really, really bright for where the sun is actually hitting the leaves. So you're going to get something like this. And I hope you guys are paying close attention to the subtleties in the transitions. You'll notice this is a little more yellow-green, and then it kind of goes to a more blue-green down here in the shadows. That makes it much more interesting. In fact, I really like this blue right here. I'm going to add that into the tree over here. And then you just kind of grab these colors, right? If you're using your brush, you just hit Alt, and then you grab that color and kind of piece it back in. Piece it back in throughout to create little shapes. Little shapes. And yeah, we like it. We like it. All right, now for our guy, our dude here. Let's just kind of paint his skin really quick. Red shirt. Wait, hang on. Red shirt. Yeah, like that. And this guy's picking up plenty of sunlight. Plenty. Good. And let's just give him some dark gray jeans. Much too dark. I don't know why this guy would be wearing dark gray jeans on a sunny day like this, but whatever. It's like one of those sunny days, but it's still like cool. Like here in Utah right now, it's like nice and sunny, and it's finally starting to go towards fall. We're approaching the colder season. So yeah, it's like nice and sunny outside, but it's like 75 degrees. So this would be perfect outside pants wearing weather at the park. All right. Okay. So here you can see we have our dude reading the book. And now we want to create a background. We want to create more background. We want to create depth in this piece. But how are we going to do that? Well, I'll show you. I will show you right now. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is we have our main layers here, like our colors and our lines. So what I want to ask that you do first is color the lines red because they're going to look a little bit better. Right now they're kind of like... actually, it doesn't look much better. Okay, you know what? I like them better. Yep, that looks best. That looks best. Okay, so never mind. Don't touch the lines. We're just going to go straight to the background. Okay, so we're going to be talking about using atmosphere to create backgrounds. And what's really cool with atmosphere is I've done a tutorial on this before, but basically as you start to go back in space, and you guys might remember doing something like this back in elementary school, where you created a picture just by using shapes and using color. Okay, so just by putting in this other shape back here, I've created another area. I've created another shape, right? Or I've created another plane, and I'm starting to add depth to this piece. Okay. Now, basically, the way that this works, and this is really handy to do in Photoshop, because as you go back further into space, all you have to do is kind of press lighter. If you press lighter on your tablet, what's going to happen is it makes it less opaque, so you can see through more to the background. And this is what I'm talking about right here. This is what atmosphere does, and that's this blue, right? This blue color right here is now starting to, like, as you look far away in the distance at something, more atmosphere will be between your eye and the actual object. So whatever color your sky is, basically, that color is going to begin mixing with your background shapes. So technically, if I were to walk to that hill, right, in the background right here, and I got there, it would look like this. It would look like this bright green. But because, in fact, yeah, you want to do this a little bit too, because the light still comes through, right? The light still comes through. It'll actually kind of desaturate and kind of move towards more like this, right? So a sunny hill in the background will look more like that, okay? But you want to just keep that in mind, because a lot of people will say like, oh, well, I want to draw this background, but I don't want to have to draw like millions of trees. Well, you don't actually have to draw millions of trees. All you have to do is take that color of the tree, and then you can start to, again, press lightly so you mix a little bit of that color with your background, with your sky color, and then that color right there. That color right there is exactly what you want to start using to paint in your trees, right? Maybe a little darker than that. That color right there is what you want to use. So you can kind of like draw in some tree trunks, draw in a few of them, right? So you got like a little collection going on over here. And this is actually how I go about painting the backgrounds in my comic, in Emma. I just draw them much like this, and I just work with shapes. And I allow the atmosphere to come in and start to turn things into shapes. So I don't have to worry anymore about drawing hundreds of leaves. Like, there's this principle that as you go further back into space, you don't have to put as much detail. Okay, so like I don't have to draw all these leaves, and I wouldn't have to put as much detail into these trees, because now they're being obscured much more by the background. Okay. And again, I want to have you guys try this out, and what I want to challenge you to do is to experiment by basically just using the pressure sensitivity of your tablet to sort of take advantage of the fact that as you press lighter, it's going further back into space. So see how like I pressed harder here, and then I just pressed lighter here, and those leaves automatically look like they're further behind. Those leaves in these formations look like they're behind these ones. And let me just go and highlight that so you know exactly what I'm talking about. These look closer than these, just because I've pressed lighter. Okay, so I want to challenge you guys to try that out. Try that out for yourselves. Okay, and then what's cool is you can go back in here and kind of erase out little shapes so you can see through to the background, like that. And voila, you are good to go. Go ahead and add in like some bushes, stuff like that. Yeah, we like that. We like that a lot. Very good. And let's not forget about back here. Let's add in some more shapes. Again, pressing even lighter this time. Even lighter. So now we're going to have something like this, right? Grab those leaves. Again, now we're really just playing around with shapes. To me, it's more about flow once you get back this far. You want to make sure you have like an interesting flow of shapes happening here. Good mix of big, smalls, and mediums. Like we'll have like one big tree here, and then we'll have like some medium ones, and then we'll have like small bushes and stuff off to the side. If you vary up your shapes and you have things like that, it always makes your drawing look a lot more interesting. So always be keeping an eye out for making sure you have a good mix of shapes in your backgrounds. Big shapes, medium shapes, and small shapes. Because if they're all the same, then it looks kind of like fake. It looks like say, okay, well, here's one Christmas tree. Or like, here's one tree right here. And if you make them all the same size, then you're going to get an effect like this. See how that looks fake? That's why, I mean, it's kind of stylistic, right? But I really like to go for like organic things. In fact, this feels pretty contrived here. All of these trees are actually very close to being the same size as well. So we're going to go ahead and fix that right now. Fixing it, and then we're going to move to the way back plane, way super far away. Okay? So, but first things first, let's get this tree nice and big. Nice and big. There we go. A couple extra leaves kind of sticking off there. Looks good. Very good, very good, very good. Let's have a little bit of that light in there too, just kind of hitting the edge. Hitting the edge of that tree. Cool. All right, guys, so now we're going to move to the very, very back plane. And what we're going to do in the very, very back plane is, hey, check this out. Also, like, you can like move it around. Like if you want it to be lower or higher, you can kind of adjust it however you want. But I kind of like it right about there. So now what we're going to begin doing is we are going to draw a city. We are going to draw an entire city. Like millions of people. Well, thousands of people. Well, I don't know, depending on what city you're drawing. But this city is going to have thousands of people. Lots of cars, windows, people working, right, in their office desks. And we're going to draw all of that in a very simple way, okay? I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it in about 30 seconds, okay? So here's what you do. Very back plane. Ready? Here we go. So here's one building. There we go. There's that one there. That one there. There we go. See? Look at that. We're, again, using the atmosphere. Using that atmosphere to our advantage. See, look at all that detail. Oh my gosh. This city is just like bustling. So much stuff going on. Are you getting the lesson here? As you go further back, you can start to do things like this. You can start creating things that should be high detail with just atmosphere. Just atmosphere. I personally love it when I get to this point. When you get to the point where you can literally start just drawing details in with just shapes. It's literally like two colors. It's a sky color and then it's your object color. Right? Super, super easy. Totally cool. And really, really fun. Look, here's Riot Games right over here. Here's Riot Games. This is kind of what the... this is basically what the building looked like. It had like this little air conditioning unit building thing on top. I know because I used to sneak up to the roof. I wasn't supposed to be up there, but I would go up there and meditate sometimes. It was fun. It was really fun. So there's Riot Games right there. And yeah, just kind of drawing a couple windows, stuff like that. And there you have a city in the background drawn with one color. Super easy, huh? Super easy, super cool. All right, now the last thing that we want to do is now we want to start moving into, again, the lightness. The light is still going to come through in some areas. So we're going to draw in some clouds. And again, you want to consider, remember our light is coming from the top right. That feels really weird because I'm pointing to the top left. But it's coming from the top right. So all of your clouds, all of the light of your clouds is going to be gathering on that side. Okay, so you can kind of draw in some things here. I don't know, it's not going to be too crazy. But again, you want to keep in mind, large, small, medium. Large, small, medium. Do not forget it. It will save your life. Okay, so we'll have like a big cloud formation here. And again, these are just clouds off the top of my head, so doing the best I can. And all this stuff is being done with just the pressure sensitivity of my stylus, okay, and my tablet. We're working together to make this happen. Okay. Looks good. Very good, very good. Okay, now one thing that happens with the sky, I'm sure you've seen this, but as it goes higher, as you look up more, it begins to darken. Okay, so I want you guys to throw in a little bit of this gradient happening. A gradient of the sky. As it goes up, it starts to darken more to this type of blue. And also, as it gets closer to the horizon line, it's going to get brighter. So you're going to have something like this. So you're going to have a little bit of light coming up through there. I don't know if it's like pollution or whatever it is, but it looks cool, so you should definitely do it. And that cloud is in front of that skyscraper, which it should not be. Let's go ahead and fix that really quick. Kind of erase. You can cut back into clouds too, much like we did with this tree. Okay? Cut back in. And notice even here, I'm using those same principles. See this large negative space, small negative space, large negative space, medium, small. You know, you can cut little things in there. Then it just pay attention to how it affects. More than anything, I want you to pay attention to how it affects your clouds. How cool it makes them look. And more than anything, just have fun with them. Have fun with your clouds. Oh, and the other thing that's cool with clouds that I've noticed is as you go closer to the horizon line, that is down here, your cloud formations, because you're looking further, right? Clouds tend to gather at a certain plane. As you get closer to the horizon, your cloud formations are going to start getting smaller. They're going to start getting smaller like this. You're going to start seeing like things like this. And if you do that with your clouds, they will look amazing. They will look amazing. See? Small clouds back here. Lots of small clouds. Small clouds leading into big clouds. And there you have it. Look at our beautiful background we've just painted within... Oh, man. That only took us like 20 minutes. That is awesome. Very, very cool. All right, so let's review everything that we've learned today, okay? I will review everything with you. And I'm really happy that this actually turned out good because I was like, I'm going to draw an entire background in like half an hour. I hope it looks good. Okay, so what we've learned today, let's dissect it piece by piece. So let's take away our clouds. Number one, what you want to remember, I'm going to make a note thing here. For your atmosphere, this is what you're going to choose. Basically, this is the color. This color is what is going to be mixing with all of the other objects within your piece, right? With your piece. As they go further back towards the horizon, basically more of this color is going to mix with it. Not pink. That's the note color. You're going to be mixing blue. Okay, so there's number one. Pick your background. Much like if this was like a sunset and the sky is now orange, you're going to start mixing orange with all of your objects as they go further into space. Okay? And the other cool thing that we've learned today is that as your objects go further back into space, it gets to a point where they literally just become shapes. They will just become shapes, and you can draw objects that would normally take a lot of detail with just two colors. With just like a slightly darker color of the atmosphere and then, you know, like a lighter color for like the windows and stuff like that. That is personally my favorite part to do because the cool thing about this is that you look at this piece and you're like, whoa, look at all that detail. Oh my gosh, you drew an entire skyscraper. Oh my gosh, you drew an entire set of clouds and like, it's funny because it didn't take you long to draw those things. You didn't have to draw the people working in their cubicles in this office building over here, or you draw me meditating on the rooftop of Riot Games over there. Actually, we could draw that. We should draw that. See? Okay, so I'm going to be right there. That's me right there. See? I'm waving. waving at you. Okay, so I'm on top of Riot Games over there. And people are like, whoa, you drew a person? You drew a whole person. Look at that detail. But you'll know the secret. You'll know the secret because you used Atmosphere. And all you had to do was just draw shapes. You just had to draw shapes. Okay? So, what else did we learn today? Make sure you're considering also, before you get to that point where it's just shapes in the background, make sure you're always considering how your light is still going to come through. Okay? Because even though we have our light here, or even though we have the shadow being obscured, what the heck is going on? Even though we have the shadow being obscured by this blue, we also have to make sure the light is being obscured as well. Okay? And you will have beautiful, beautiful pieces. All right, guys. So that is going to wrap it up. Hope you guys learned something. And if that was confusing, you can just watch it over and over and over again. Any questions, just let me know in the comments below. Post your things on Facebook that you did using this technique. Hope you guys enjoy it. Thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. My name is Keenan Lafferty. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, take care.